It is true that the people/beings that inhabit the beach caves closely resemble nothing less than animated cadavers. Large, perpetually open eyes, the emaciation, a strange covering of light grey dust or dirt all over their skin, gaping mouths with oversized and oddly shaped teeth, mostly bald craniums with sometimes matted wisps of colourless hair, the deep, slow breathing as if they have just come into air, blackened lips and nails, their seeming indifference to weather, their preference for nighttime activity. Terms like hungry ghosts, ghouls, zombies, the walking dead, and many others are all used. What they call themselves, if anything, has yet to be known. The people of the cliffs seldom communicate to outsiders, and, when so, in short gasping sentences and words in hollow voices. Their infamous moans and shrill screams are more often heard, usually at greater distance possible, and always taken as a warning to keep away from the cliffs. Yet, despite every rumour, there is no direct evidence the cliff people actually committed any crimes of violence against others. The nearest town, the coastal community of Inverloch, has long complained of missing individuals and pets, desecration of the nearby cemetery, and vandalism of other kinds. Yet invariably, other sources of these crimes have been found when investigated. It's led to something of a social division, not just in Vinville, but the entire Robertson area, between those who regard the cliff people as inhuman monsters who need exterminating, and those who regard them with some distant pity. Attempts to communicate with them have always failed. From individual academics to the police, every time the cliffs were explored with the intention of establishing contact, the cliff people were never found. It is always in the course of other pursuits, recreational exploring, hiding drugs or bodies, fishing, poaching abalone, that they are encountered. They are seldom seen alone. Invariably, there is more than one with each contact. One individual reported being in an audience with what seemed like an entire host in one of the larger caves. In that case, it was reported that the individual assumed that they were all male simply through lack of any normal sexual identifications, yet wondered on reflection if they were sexed at all. It was pointed out that no infant or children cave people have ever been seen. In any case, the experience left this individual traumatised. It was not that they actually did anything to him, other than just stare, gape-mouthed, breathing heavily so that the cave resonated with the sounds of echoed and distorted intake and outtake. Where light was available, they seemed almost translucent. Where there was little light, almost invisible. Another tourist claimed to have met one on the road from the beach to the hostel he was staying with two more obviously observing from the bushes behind. This one cave person managed some speech, but the tourist could barely understand even the few words of it, apart from the obvious "you." Naked, according to the report, apart from a wrapping of some brown linen-like cloth around the waist, and with laceless boots. The other two seemed at least to have sleeveless shirts on. All the tourist really remembered were the vast stares and ponderous breathing. As psychologically unpleasant as these and other encounters are, no actual record of the cave people harming anyone exists, which is a pity, as they are indeed dangerous, just not how people normally would imagine. They are a threat, but not an immediate threat. The real danger comes from their practice of making bonfires near and on the shore, and standing vigil as they stare, unblinking, into the ocean. It is at these times that they usually begin their round of shrieking and screaming, at times when the night sky is covered in thick clouds, swiftly roiling and threatening to chunder deluge over the world. Sometimes these ceremonies are accompanied by flocks of seagulls, larger than the usual, and black, who join in the keening. At these times, the cliff people do not seem like strange interlopers in the world, but very much a part of it, another manifestation of it, along with the roiling clouds and churning high-tide waves that end these ceremonies when they rise high enough to douse the fires. Those fires too high to be reached will simply be pushed into the waves. But then the ceremonies end, and on doleful, disappointed notes. It is as if these moments were meant as some kind of invocation of forgotten sea creatures or spirits who must no longer exist as they never appear, were anyone living to have seen these displays, they would swear there was a look of rueful loss in the cave people's otherwise implacable faces, or of a bitterness of disappointment and missed opportunity. Can one say that these are not a people who are doomed to live in these wretched caves, stinking of fish corpses, solely intent on worshipping dead gods who no longer respond to their communal prayers of deliverance? But it may be that one night their prayers will be answered. If that is the case, it will not be in the way they anticipate and hope, but very much in a way that not only they would rue.